Everybody in the 8-day workshop tells the whole story of their life, and they get videotaped, and they get to keep it. And they go show it to people, like their parents and stuff, and talk about the story they told about their life, which causes some family conflict occasionally. But one of the things that happened to us after you listen to so many life stories, you get a little bit jaded. So a lot of us now got our life story down to 27 seconds. And it's roughly this: I was born an unusually gifted person to inane and stupid parents who, in spite of the bad job they did, due to my great will and courage, I overcame it to become the sterling individual standing before you now. That's it. Radical honesty is merely a step along the way to living a life that's compassionate, because compassion means that you're noticing something about the similarity between the being that you are and the being that another person is. So that the Sufis say, when you look into the eyes of another person and you just look, what you see over there is something very similar to yourself. So you just sort of say, oh, hello, fellow being over there. It's very much like looking in a mirror. And you recognize that it's like looking in a mirror. And as one being to another, you relate as one being to another. You see that that pair of eyes is pretty much like the pair of eyes over here. You see that electricity over there is pretty much like this electricity. So you salute that being over there as one being saluting another. That's what the Sufis call the holy human prototype. The holy human prototype is the being that you are, then the being that I am. And the holy human prototype, what's holy about it is, that's all there is. That's the being we are. One being acknowledging the being of another is different than thinking about someone else. It's not about the conversation, it's about the connection. Kierkegaard said, a person who relates to another person and relates also to that relation relates thereby to God. Meaning, a person as a being who acknowledges the being of another human being acknowledges thereby all of being. Out of this ability to recognize the being of other beings comes the directions for the correct use of your mind. And one of the things that Pema Chodron has said, she's a great teacher, she said, one of the things you learn from is suffering. And one of the advantages of being a human being is there's plenty of it available. I just love that perspective. You know, there's plenty of it available, and so there's lots to grow on, right? And if you share your suffering, you transform your relationship to your suffering. You get to where you transform the suffering. And transforming your own suffering is done by transforming other people's suffering. And it happens simultaneously. And that's how we're going to save the world.